It is time for the Nebraska Dairy Update. I'm Chad Moyer. Today we get an update from Midwest Dairy, and Manager of Programs and Partnerships here in Nebraska joins us today. She is Ashley Larson. Ashley, thanks for visiting with us here today. We're going to talk about an event that took place in the middle of August. It's something called the Dairy Crawl. It happened in Lincoln. What is a dairy crawl?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Chad. A dairy crawl is where you walk to different restaurants to experience dairy in a different way. Midwest Dairy partnered with the Alliance for the Future of Agriculture in Nebraska, many people know it as AFAN, to host this dairy crawl that was an evening of food, fun, and conversation, discussing dairy's role in a sustainable food system. The dairy crawl included 3 different stops in the Fallbrook area in Lincoln: Zipline Tap and Grill, Toast, and 402 Creamery. At each stop, we enjoyed a different course of the meal, an appetizer, an entree, and dessert. And then the program included a speaker at each stop as well.
All right. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about it, some of the topics and the food, things like that. But first of all, who attended the dairy crawl?
Yeah, so the attendees of the event represented different environmental groups in Nebraska, including Keep Nebraska Beautiful, Conservation Nebraska, the City of Lincoln Sustainability Department, the University of Nebraska in Lincoln, Central Community College, and the Nebraska Department of Agriculture. These individuals who attended are thought leaders throughout the state. Thought leaders are individuals whose views are taken to be authoritative and influential. They help spread the word on sustainability in their work, and were able to come to the event to see how the dairy industry is taking a part in sustainability as well.
All right. Now, first thing you said, there was great food at each of those stops. I'm sure there was, but you also said there was a program at each of those stops. Ashley, could you talk about who were the speakers? What were the topics?
Yeah, absolutely. So at our first stop, where we had a nacho bar, so that was the great food. But our first stop was Darren Mueller, herds manager at Prairieland Dairy, spoke on the practices they use on their dairy to help the environment. He included information on Prairieland Gold, which is a composting operation on the dairy. He also discussed the technology they use for caring for the cows and with milking them. At the second stop, where we enjoyed our main entree, was UNL professor Paul Konanoff, who spoke on the changes of dairy farming over the last 50 years and how these new practices have helped the environment while producing more milk and dairy products. The third stop concluded with ice cream and listening to dairy farmers from Classic Dairy, Ann Engelman and her granddaughter, Allie Engelman. With Ann being married to a third-generation dairy farmer, they spoke on sustainability through a family aspect.
All right. So again, like you say, great food, a great conversation as well. So now that it's done, Ashley, and you kind of look back on it, I guess, what are the outcomes of doing like this? What are some of the lasting impressions that you hope come from an event like this?
Yeah, the main goal with putting on an event like this is to get to know some of the environmental thought leaders working in the sustainability space, their priorities, and how Midwest Dairy can partner with them on future projects and events to help promote what dairy is doing. The group of thought leaders that Midwest Dairy partners with are diverse, and we prioritize these relationships as great avenues for sharing dairy information. We really value the role of the health and wellness professionals, environmental experts, and many others who take the positive dairy information provided and share it further with their own following and contacts. By working with these credible thought leaders, we can ensure dairy sustainable nutrition story reaches a larger group of consumers. The dairy crawl provided a fun atmosphere and education to help the attendees learn more about dairy's role in a sustainable food system and really think about dairy in a different way. We hope to partner with some of these organizations that will help us continue to build trust in dairy. And so since the dairy crawl, I've been able to meet with them individually and discuss future partnerships either for the rest of this year or going into 2025.
All right. Sounds great. I guess if folks would like to maybe learn more about the dairy crawl and maybe some of the other activities that Midwest Dairy is doing, what's a good way to follow along?
Yeah, on Midwest Dairy's website would be the best way to find that information and the promotion updates.
All right, very good. It's good to talk to you. Thank you so much for telling us about this event. Ashley Larson, Manager of Programs and Partnerships for Midwest Dairy here in Nebraska, again giving us the report on the dairy crawl that happened in the middle of August. That is today's Nebraska Dairy Update. Chad Moyer reporting.